Bob Maloney from MyMMAnews.com, and I am with Patrick the Brick Brady. Patrick,
Bobby.
listen, it's been a long time, man.
Yeah,
This
man.
guy is so much more than a fighter to me, man. He's become a really good friend, and I've been there with him. Let's talk about your journey here, because he's fighting in the main event at Live Casino at Art of War Cage Fighting 22 on April 1st. And listen, his first fight, amateur fight, I was there calling it, and he actually lost it. It was a tough fight. I thought it could have went either way, but let's talk about, talk about that, because here you go. You started your first fight. It was just a short few years ago.
Yeah.
You've been to a couple different places. You settled in at home here at Martinez BJJ. You went pro. You're 1-0. You're training with UFC guys, Kyle and Chris Dawkins, some of the best fighters in the city and and the world, not just the city.
No,
So
in the world.
let's talk about that journey, because when you first, went in the cage for your first fight, did you ever even imagine that it would get to this point,
No.
especially so quickly?
No. Honestly, I did it on a whim, and I had no idea where it would take me. But I knew I loved the feeling of the pressure, right? Like, so it's a lot of pressure. You're getting in the cage with another man who's trying to hurt you, so there's a lot of pressure involved. And something about the way my brain functions and fires, like I got addicted to it right away, and I just kept coming back for more and kept coming back for more. And like you said, I've been to a couple places, and I was with the first gym for my first 2 fights at Montella, and then I did 2 more fights, and I was with Balance, and now here at Martinez, this is where I've had most of my fights now. At this point, at Martinez, with Bill and the guys here taking care of me.
Well, that's exciting, because like I said, you're flying out to Vegas to corner.
No,
It's not. It's
Columbus.
Columbus, Ohio.
We leave on Tuesday.
So he's flying out. He's going to be in the UFC corner for Chris Dawkins, the heavyweight, in another main event, the second consecutive one. Tell me about that, a little bit about that. When you get there, how's the treatment? Do you really enjoy that? I mean, there's a UFC. I mean, it's got to be a great experience being around, not just the fighters, but around the entire aura of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're treated with a certain level of dignity, and they really take care of their fighters there at the UFC. And it's not just the experience of the entire UFC experience. This is like my 3rd time going out now. It's the people that you're with, like me, Chris, and Kyle, and Will. Like we hang out. You know what I mean? And we all get along really well. And, it's a whole experience. It's not just the UFC. It's the people that you're with, and you're there for a job.
Are you there like a
business.
sponge? But like, are you like learning things too when you're there, seeing things and talking to people? And
Most of the learning is done here, right? While you're there, the work's already done, right? Like, we already did all the work here at the gym, and when you're out there, you're there to showcase what you've been doing, and that's what Chris is going to do. So, now you see how things are done and how it's organized and how everything is on a schedule. There's an itinerary and you follow it. Like, so you get to see like how it's done at the highest level, like as far as the scheduling of things, like, because the UFC, they don't miss a beat, man. Everything is taken care of, so you pretty much know where you're going to be and when you're supposed to be there at all times. Other than that, I mean, it's business, man. You're out there for business.
well, listen, you're talking business. Let's get into business. Your fight, Cesar Gutierrez. He has 6 pro fights. I know your opponent changed a couple of weeks ago, but he's coming in from Texas. I'm sure there's a lot of film on him with him having 6 professional fights.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you see this matchup. Listen, your first pro fight, man. You took on a monster, man. Larry Gonzalez, man. That was one of the.
That was a dog
That
fight.
was just a bat. You guys beat the shit out of each other for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Now Cesar Gutierrez coming in. You're trying to get your second win. Talk to me about how you guys are, looking at this fight and then your opponent.
Yeah, man. The kid Caesar's a gamer, man. He comes to fight. He had a ton of amateur fights too. I want to say he had almost 10 amateur fights, and he's got the 6 pro fights. And the guy just fights and fights and fights and shows up and fights. There's some holes in his game, but there's some holes in my game. I'm going to try to expose his holes, and he's going to try to expose mine. Maybe there's an argument to be said that I don't have the cardio, but I did last 3 5-minute rounds in my last fight, and I was still throwing in the 3rd round. So, that I'm going to try to improve on what I feel like my problems are. and I'm going to try to expose what I think his problems are. And, you know, I think I'm going to land some shots, and I'm going to land some big shots, and we have to see how he's going to respond to my big shots, because Larry Gonzalez, man, he responded like a tank to my big shots, and I landed some on him, and he just kept coming forward. So, you know, that was a fun fight, and it was a fun first fight, and it kind of just shows like what I was made of. And as long as that same guy shows up April 1st at Live Casino for the main event, you know, as long as that same guy shows up, I don't see any problems. I should be able to get this win and, you know, move on to 2-0. But yeah, man, it's going to be a fun experience going from my first fight. I was sitting down talking at my first fight, and now the main event, you know, with Art of War. And
your fixed face is on the billboard.
Yeah,
You're driving over the
man.
bridge, and you're seeing Patrick Brady's face on the billboard.
It's crazy because, you know, I want to say my first fight, Joey Piper, was the main event. And like you know, you're sitting down and you're sitting like you look in the back room and you see like all the guys like the main event, and they're all sitting around, and you know, you're a newer guy, so you don't really communicate with them. And now I'm that guy, you know what I mean? I'm the guy who the show is about, you know what I mean? Like we're all fighting in it, but like, you know, you're in the main event.
Yeah, you're selling a ton of tickets now. I mean,
yeah,
along with you starting to fight, I mean, your following has gotten so much bigger. I know that's listen, it's part of the regional game. You got to sell tickets. You got to sell yourself. You got to get sponsors.
You have to promote yourself. You have to get your sponsors. And just some of my sponsors, Apollo Pre-Owned over there in South Jersey. Apollo Pre-Owned, go get your pre-owned car over there. That place has great cars. Great car. My Performance Meal Prep, they've been taking care of me as usual. Performance Meal Prep has really been feeding me. And then we have
even as a heavyweight, has that been important to you to eat healthy, even though you're heavyweight?
Absolutely. I mean, look, man, sometimes, you know, I get a little crazy. I get my bowl of ice cream and my big bowl of cereal. But you know, that stuff's important too, because you got to have carbs. For what we're doing, you do need a healthy carb intake. So I take full advantage of that carb intake. But we got Worldwide Restoration, right? And then Antrim Electric is taking care of it. So we have Primal Nutrition, some good sponsors again, man. And it feels good to know that what you're doing is being noticed, and the work that you're putting in is coming to fruition, and I get to go out there and show off in front of, you know, at the new casino. Man.
Live Casino and Hotel just had their first anniversary. It's the hottest place in the city. My man Patrick the Brick Brady in the main event.
Yeah, I'm the Brick now.
The first MMA event they've ever hosted. Yeah. They have had a couple boxing events, but I'm sure they're anticipating this greatly. And Pat gets that support because he's a great family man. He's father of 3 boys. He's got a great woman, and
she's okay.
Not only that, listen, he's fun. He's a heavyweight. He goes out there and he's not tap dancing. He's out there to, you know, lay the wood, man. I can still close my eyes and hear those leg kicks landing from your first professional fight. I'm like, the guy couldn't have definitely have walked for a few days after that
and
fight,
look, man, he closed my eye good and shut. My eye was shut for a couple days. So yeah, I mean, we beat each other up pretty good, man. But that's what it's about. Like I'm out there to put on a show every time. So that's what we're gonna do April 1st.
If you can't make it to the casino, you can check out the live updated results on mymmanews.com or the Star Fund app. We are live on pay-per-view. I'll be cage side calling the fights with Ryan and Cafaro and Eugene Aubrey as Patrick Brady brings his chiseled heavyweight body to the cage in the main event. Can't wait, brother.
Thanks, Bobby. Appreciate it.